Hey, good evening, everyone. I hope you are doing well. It is 2024. We are here amidst another breakthrough year. What I like to call breaking down the door in the 2-4. This is the CARE Global Leadership Series, where we talk about collaboration, acceleration, revelation, and elevation. And these gentlemen, this all-star panel I have assembled today, first of all, thank you, but they represent impactors and influencers. And they're going to be giving examples today of men's health, right? M.A.T, men about their health, leading by example, engaging, taking accountability for their health. Because at some point, it has to be bigger than us, bigger than me, bigger than Dr. Dre, Unisa, Dr. Bill, Bishop Wells. We have to have responsibility for others, our loved ones, our friends, our co-workers, our employees, whatever that is in our life going on. We have to be accountable to them as well as ourselves. So we want to make sure that we get this information to you, that maybe one or two men out there will decide that, hey, man, let me go see my doctor, man. I haven't seen him in a few years. Let me go see my doctor. Let me go get checked up, right? Let me go check myself out, make sure I'm good. So with that, I want to introduce our panel. And I'm going to start with our man out of the UK, a global speaker, global influencer. He is the founder, president of Kamara Youths. And he is a friend of parliament. I mean, this guy, when I say global, he's global, right? But he's influencing and he's impacting at a high level. And he is my brother, Unisa Kamara. Then we have Dr. Dre from Yo MTV Raps, the MTV phenomenon. Many of you seen him interview some of today's and yesterday's biggest hip-hop stars and celebrities. He's been on many entertainment red carpets. He is a pioneer, not only in hip-hop, but in human advocacy. He is the founder of Para World, and you'll hear more about that, the things that he's doing, but he's now impacting lives in communities all over the world. Again, another global impactor, global influencer. Then we have my good friend, Dr. Bill Sears. Many know him as Dr. Bill. You've seen him on every TV show as a medical consultant. He's shaking hands with Oprah and many others that you've seen on television. He is the host of the Dr. Sears Show. And he is the author of over 45 books. Him and his lovely wife, First Lady Martha Sears. And he is also the founder and creator, what of many will say, the world's best coaching institute, the Sears Wellness Institute. Developed, I don't know, thousands of life coaches and health coaches all over the world. And he is also what many feel is America's pediatrician. So with that, we're going to talk about men's health. So I'm going to start with Unisa, because everybody on here has so much wisdom, and I'm going to learn so much this evening. But Unisa, what do you feel is the state of the men's overall health in the UK and in the US? What's your perception?
Well, Troy, thank you so much for that question. Um, the thing about us men, Troy, is that it's like it's a taboo for us to go and see our GPs, our doctors, as they will call them in America. And the thing is that I met a gentleman a couple of years ago, well-known TV star, he's doing movies and so forth. And he had a dilemma going on. But the most funniest thing was, I say it's funny because he has the same mindset as I do to go see a doctor and have a doctor put a finger in his rectal. And men like us, we don't believe in that. But one thing that he failed to realize is that technology has changed. You know, we cancer is something that is growing in men. So when we say us men, we don't take care of ourselves because we're not looking into things. You understand? So when a friend of mine spoke to him and told him that you no longer need to do this, you no longer need to be afraid, you no longer have to have that mindset. This is what's going on in technology. And when he went to get checked out, he had cancer. So by him taking that step from the advice of a friend, he discovered it at an early stage, which is now being taken care of. So us men, instead of us taking care of ourselves, we still have that same mindset to say, well, you know what? I'm not going to go to a doctor. I'm not going to have someone stick a finger in my rectal. Instead of inquiring us to say, well, in case I need to get checked out, what's the procedure? What do I need to, be aware of? We are holding back instead of taking action. Many men out there are not seeing their doctors, Troy, because of the taboo that is out there. And we need to see doctors on a regular basis. I'm at a point, Troy, if I get a finger cut, I'm running to my doctor. Like, why is this not healing the way it's supposed to? I want to know more about my body than anything. So I think that we as men need to be more aware and more attentive to our well-being.
Well said, my brother. And I love the point where your friend's friend was pretty much stepping up and providing some more accountability by telling him to, get in there and get this checked out. So we have to do that, right? We got to be our brother's keeper. Sometimes, it's going to fall on deaf ears, but we can only do what we can do, and we're never going to stop doing what we can do. So get ready to hear us. So, Dr. Dre, same thing. What's your perception of the overall status of men's health here in the U.S.? Dr. J, are you with us?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I'm just listening. I listen first before I jump in.
Yes.
Believe me when I say so. Because I want to make sure whatever points we make with this, Unisa made a couple of grand points. And I just came from a doctor's appointment this week. And my doctors always are stunned and amazed. How are you doing this? How are you treating this so well? I went from an A1C almost a year ago at a 12, which is now down to an 8. And I told them, no, the last time we did it, it was an 8 then too. It's an 8 now because I understood how to manage better. My cholesterol, my kidneys, my liver are what they call exceptional. My my what is it called? My sugar number was 114, and they were like, wow. I had a certain elevation. I dealt with my white blood cell count to check on an infection. So we're going after that too. So you have to, as a person, as a male person, we have to be able to account to ourselves what we need to know on how we work around this world. Being a blind amputee and a type 2 diabetic, once again, a blind amputee and a type 2 diabetic, I consider myself super bad. So there's nothing I cannot do to make things better. The first issue we deal with when it comes to our bodies, our health, and our wellness is our nutrition and our exercise. And let's start just with nutrition. First of all, when you walk into any of these huge conglomerate stores and they have these shelves full of food all over the place, most of that food is poison. Let me try that one more time. Most of the food that's stocked on a shelf in a supermarket is poison. If you pick up a box and you see all these chemical additives so they can survive on the shelf and they got this and the other, poison. The only thing that's really not poison, and you still got to be very proficient in your produce. Second, in that grocery store, understand something. Not for everybody, and I'm not promoting vegetarian lifestyle, but meat is our number one curse for us, next to the second curse, which is sugar and corn syrup. It just is. If you cannot manage that, it makes it difficult to go and manage what you need to do at the doctor's office. Believe me. And you have to face the facts. I consider myself, simple and plain, a food addict. Because to be the size I was to where I am and to deal with my health issues, I am a food addict. Now, what's a food addict? A food addict is worse than a drug addict. Why? Because you have to eat to live. But you have to understand, what do you need to eat to live and to maintain a healthy lifestyle? So I go speak with a gentleman named Dr. Furman, who came up with this thing called G bombing. What's G bombing, Dr. Dre? Well, G bombing is greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds. Once again, greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds. Breaking it down to you simply. Yes, you want to have that salads. Yes, you want to have those certain green vegetables. But the best thing for carnivores, which is what we are, because that's the way our teeth are in our head, is you want fresh green produce. Kale, romaine lettuce, spinach. The darker the leaf, the better it is for you. Clean it off extremely well, because when those things are grown, they do put chemicals on it. So we have to be very, 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 very clear on how we clean those things. Let's go to the next thing. Beans, lima beans, black beans. All beans are good for protein for us. Very good. You can make lima bean soup. You can put not blackberries. Uh, uh, beans are very good for you. So rotate that towards your diet, because it also helps you expel those poisons that you happen to take. That's the biggest thing when it comes to health, is how well you can excrete what you're putting in your body efficiently, because that's why you need to have colonoscopies, so you can check on that prostate, you can check on making sure you don't have cancerous cells. Continuing on with the G bombing. So we're now at onions. Red onions, big onions. I mean, onions, scallops, all those type of things are the best thing for your nutrition. Mushrooms. I can't eat no mushrooms, Dr. Dre. I hate mushrooms. I hate this. I hate that. I don't like the way it tastes. But you'll go to that package and pick it up, pull open that thing and say, but I like these chips. I like these French fries. I like this. I like that. That's what I like to eat. Well, then that's what you like to eat. Everything in moderation. The mushrooms on a fresh salad, boy, oh boy, you got me excited. With some onions and other stuff. And I very rarely use salad dressing, because most salad dressing, unless you create it, it's not what it is. If you pull it off a shelf from a bottle, it's been put up there with certain chemicals, so it has what they call shelf life. So now from mushrooms, we go to berries, strawberries, blackberries, raspberries, berry. It works well with your smoothies. All types. I just had a AccuBerry smoothie today with some liver and whey in it and a couple of different fat burners and extra ginger, it helps my body. It just does. Then seeds, hemp seeds, flax seeds, chia seeds, a spoonful of seeds helps the medicine go down and helps your body function. So it's as simple as those things that we need to get started with. So let's talk about a little exercise program, something I've been doing now for over 3 years. It's called the 30-step program. I'm now up to 300 steps when I wake up in the morning. First thing I do after prayer and meditation is my step program. And it's very simple. You stand up, you can hold a chair, you can hold a table, you can stand straight as an arrow, and you step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and keep going. Keep going. Keep going. When I started to get into 300, I was like, wow. Because the more you step, you work through the pain. Don't stop. Oh, I can't. My pain, my legs. I can't do this. I can't. See, take contractions out of your vocabulary. Remove the don'ts, the can'ts, the won'ts, the what am I supposed to do? Because I just had this conversation with somebody, with some young ladies about I wake up and I'm 60 years of age now. I don't go, oh, my back hurts. I can't do it. What am I going to do? My knee, oh, my leg, oh, my arms, oh, my this. I don't do that. I don't have those kind of problems. Because the increase of the water, my diet, and knowing I am a food addict. So at any time I can go do the wrong thing. But the first thing I go do after that wrong thing, I double down on the best things that keep my body functioning. Because every time some celebrity or some well-known person, just like unfortunately we just lost Dexter King, the son of Dr. Martin Luther King, to prostate cancer. I want to say, what was he doing? Where was the support? How did that happen? What was he doing? Because he wasn't doing what Troy's putting together here, a conversation and the ability for us to speak to each other to say, you know what? We got to do better, especially in the African American community, especially in communities of color. Put those cigarettes down. There's nothing you get from a cigarette except the clock moving faster towards your demise. Now, some people may say, oh, cannabis is okay. Yes and no. Because the cannabis that they're doing that's chemically laden is not cannabis from the ground. See, it's those other things that you include in your health and wellness program that screw with your numbers. So when I sat there and I talked to my endocrinologist, that's the person where you take a blood test and they break down what's going on in your blood. I said, hey, man, I need to check my prostate. Because the last time I was here was like 5 years ago, and they said I was clean as a whistle. And there's nothing worse than when you go in for them to do the colonoscopy on you, and everybody's looking at you kind of strange. You go, oh man, what's going to be in this big guy? When I was awakened, they said, we'll see you in 5 years. I said, 5 years? What's the matter? They said, no. You're clean as a whistle. You have a little something towards your anus, and that's normal because of what happens. But basically, whatever you're doing, keep doing. So my suggestion is when you go out to eat with your family, friends, lovers, and enemies, make your salad the last thing you eat because it's roughage. And roughage helps digestion. So if you want to pack the steak in, you want to pack that lobster down, you want to get them fries or them potatoes, whatever else you want to eat, make that salad the last thing. So when they bring the salad out first, say, no, hold that, put that to the side. I'm going to eat that, but I'm going to eat that last. Because that roughage starts breaking down inside your body and through your gut and through your intestines and starts flushing the poisons out. Because it's very difficult to avoid the poisons because of we all go to these stores. Unless you got your own farm, unless you're doing it without chemicals to keep the food growing, it's very difficult to avoid the poisons. But we can modify and get the poisons out as we make the best choices for ourselves. So again, I am a self-confessed food addict, but I also know in moderation. And then me going to that endocrinologist every 3 months and then meeting with my primary doctor. And he went, man, I have never seen a turnaround like this. I told you the shoe I had was affecting the infection in my foot because I also have an open ulcer that's being treated by my podiatrist. I also have a prosthetic I deal with. All those things. I fight to stay healthy by doing just simple things. That's why I say the step program. You don't have to, oh, I got to go walk 20 miles. I got to do 10,000 steps this today. No, 300 every. I do it morning, noon, afternoon before I did this call, and before I go to bed. I do those steps. So 3 times 4, I'm at 1,200 for the day. 1,200 times 7. The numbers just add up. And if you slump off a day and you do 150, you build to that. But the thing is, I try to act stronger. I try to find smarter people than me to help motivate me, to help drive me. Because even reading Pastor Michael Todd's book, Damages, everyone on the planet, especially men, we're all damaged by our lives. If you've lived enough years, we've all had issues and things that happen. But the one thing I want to encourage us as men who are trying to become more healthy, more aware, and more nutritiously conscious, protect our women. Support your daughters, your aunts, your mothers, your grandmothers. Generationally support the babies so that we can teach them when we need this soul food, we need the real soul food, not the survival food that we had for 300 years during our incarceration in this nation and around this planet. Because when you start to realize the simplicity of what you need to survive, your body heals itself. You start to lose the weight, so you don't have to take a needle. And I'm not trying to shame anybody who's doing whatever they think they need to do to get the weight off and to get to the size they want to be. I'm saying the process is easier. Fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. Cooked vegetables are not good for you because you've cooked out all the nutritious parts that you need. So when you go and you steam the collards and then you pour the water off, drink that hot water. There's the nutrition, it's right there. So when you get those steamed string beans, drink the water. The nutrition's right there. And then if you want to slab the butter on it, do what you think you need to do. But dominate the nutritional side. And the biggest, hardest thing I have to get away because I was grown up and raised on bread. Gotta get bread out of my diet, out of it. So it just needs to go. Some people say, oh, Dre, those are extremes. They're not extremes. They're things that was taught to me, things that became normal functioning things. But now, because at 60 years of age, blessed that I'm here 60 years, this past December 5th, 1963, I know better. So when I go into my doctor's offices and I sit there and they go, how are you doing this? Yeah, I do CMOS. Yeah, I do a lot of other things and supplement stuff that works too. You know, elderberries, juniper berries, um, dandelions. I can go down a list of stuff that I do that supplements things that I do. Dr. Sabi was a brilliant mind and understood. The the late great Dick Gregory was a good friend of mine who screamed and hollered when I told him, Dick, I got diabetes. What the hell did I tell you to do? Why would you go? Yeah, I learned it the hard way. So I don't blame people for my condition. What I do is use my condition to help others. And that's what the beauty of this call is, because Troy's reaching out. And that helps our mental situations so we can work better. I work with autism, and I have a streaming network we're putting together called Para World, PARAWHIRL. I spell it because there's two parts, Para World, streaming network is to give greater accessibility to folks who are blind, deaf, and want to be able to participate in other stuff that goes on. So it's been a hard process trying to get it off the ground. But I believe in 24, like Troy said, I not only want more, and when I say I, meaning we want more, I want to deliver more. So that means I got to hit the road. I got to be out there and I got to make sure I'm in the best health to do, speak, show examples, let people participate. And it's great to use the 50th anniversary of hip hop. But if I cannot, and when I say I, our group of people work to make people better physically, mentally, financially, culturally, functioning together, then I'm doing the wrong thing. Because to lose the great Biz Markie, the great Prince Markie D of the Fat Boys, to lose my good friend DJ Mark, the 45 King, and I can go down the list of so many that didn't make 6-0. And I'm not talking about from a gunshot wound. I'm talking about from simple, nutritional deficiencies in these deserts. So wherever you might say, Dr. Dre, we need you. Come on, can you come do this? Can you be a part of that? I am not hiding. I am not hard to find. Troy will tell you that in a minute. I'm also helping distribute tablets and phones to give free Wi-Fi and service to folks through Dr. Dre Yo, Hoop Wireless Media.com. That's what my group that works for me and my friends and my family, that's what we try to do. It's about helping. So it was a blessing to do Your Own TV Raps today and host with Ed Lover and T Money. It was a blessing to do the movie Who's the Man. It was a blessing to do all those great things I've pulled off in the entertainment world. Now it's time to do health and wellness. And it's time to let that BAD in me, that blind amputee type 2 diabetic, say, we're not giving up. Because diabetes shot through the roof after World War II because we decided we don't want to eat this food. We need to go to this other restaurant. We need this China sandwich. We need this, we need that. Not realizing that was food that was causing the demise of many of our seniors, young children, and our adults as we grew older. So that's my real message. My name is Dr. Dre. Thank you, Troy.
Dr. Dre, thank you as usual. Appreciate the wisdom, the openness, the vulnerability, sharing your health journey, right? You mentioned blindness, amputee, diabetes, and you are the picture of embracing a challenge and overcoming all those challenges and obstacles. Before we close this out with the incomparable Dr. Bill Sears, world famous Sears Wellness Institute, I want to mention a couple sponsors. Number one, you mentioned, Dre mentioned Hoop Wireless. That Hoop is in the community. They're providing these free tablets and phones for the underserved community, those in social programs, low income, you name it. Hoop is able to provide these devices around the country for these communities. So shout out to
And
Hoop
veterans.
and veterans. And also AYG, Financial and Insurance Services. And AYG, accept your greatness, where they are not only helping families, but they are helping businesses, especially save in payroll taxes. So you'll find all this information on my website. Every partner we deal with is listed. If you need any more information, trust me, you do know how to with Troy. But I want to point out some numbers from Indiana University that were kind of just alarming to me. That men, the mortality rate is 41% higher than women. I'm like, whoa. I knew it was higher, but I didn't realize it was that higher. That's alarming, right? Especially when we're talking about accountability. That's where a lot of that lies. That we have to take charge. We've lost so many men that could have been avoided. I believe, right? I don't want to say what they were personally doing in their health journey, but I believe that we can be proactive with preventive information and just having more open conversations about our health, right? And how we're afraid to go to the doctor. It's just alarming. But another statistic that they said was that 31% of men are dealing with or have dealt with depression and anxiety. 9% are walking around daily with depression and anxiety. So, Dre mentioned nutrition. That has a lot to do with it. It does. But there's also other factors that take place, but that's going to be a whole nother webinar. Third sponsor, Masterminds, where they are creating digital imagery and exposing your brand like nobody's business. So thank you, Masterminds. Thank you, AYG. And thank you, Hoop Wireless. So with no further ado, Dr. Bill Sears, please, sir, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you, Troy. And thank you, Dr. Bray and Isla. I loved hearing your story, Dr. Bray, because Dr. Dre, because I for the green, eat more greens. I have a little sign on my medical office. The greener your meal, the better you feel. And the kids love that. You know, the greener your meal, the better you feel.
Yes,
And
sir.
you know, I have a similar story. Like many men, we should have done just what our mothers told us: eat more fruits and vegetables and go outside and play. But we didn't, and many men need a wake-up call, some illness that says, okay, and mine was 25 years ago. I got colon cancer. But cancer caused me to change. I had a family, I had 8 children to look after. It was at the prime of my life, 57 years of age. And I'm 84 now. And so I said, okay, I got to get closer to God. Because I remember I spent 3 years in a seminary. I was going to be a pastor, but I remember learning very early that the closer you are to God, the better your health. And just last week, I was talking to a professor of neurology, Dr. Vince Fortness, an Alzheimer's specialist at UC Medical School, and he said there really is studies showing closer you are to God, the better your health. So that was my change, big thing I did. And I said, at that time, I said a commitment to God, like 25 years ago. God, I will serve you all the days of my life. I just need to know how to serve. And that's why we opened the Dr. Sears Wellness Institute. We have 13,000 health coaches around the world. We opened our website, and I started writing books on health. And then I started teaching health. Because, for example, let's say you come into my office for a checkup, yearly checkup. I may open with, say, Billy, how's your relationship with God? Right? Or say his father comes in who's a little bit overweight. I don't pay much attention to scale weight. It's waist size. That's the new thing. I say, tell me, how many hours per day do you spend moving outside? And I say, well, what's that got to do with my checkup? Well, let me tell you. And what I'm about to say, our listeners, be careful, be very, very attentive. What I'm about to teach you won the Nobel Prize. So why did our mothers say, go outside and play? All right. Now, imagine God is making the most beautiful, beautiful creation ever made, the human body. as Dr. Dre said, human body, God's greatest, most beautiful creation. This is your body. But God knew that we mere humans are going to mess it up by the way we eat, think, and live. So God said, I'm going to put inside every body a natural pharmacy, a pharmacy that makes their own medicine. All right, so let's think about that, listener. Oh, I've got a pharmacy inside. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, I've got a big pharmacy inside. God put it there. Now, if you wanted that pharmacy, you're thinking, well, where is that? How do I open it? Well, think about it a minute. If you want that pharmacy to get into your bloodstream quick and dispense all kinds of medicines, they've discovered 23 medicines now, medicines that lower the high cholesterol, high blood sugar, all the high blood inflammation, medicines that elevate the lows, antidepressants, anti-anxieties, medicines that heal the hurts, anti-inflammatory. But the medicines you make are better than the medicines you take. And whatever that pharmacy is, it's trillions of little microscopic medicine bottles in the lining of your blood vessels. Call it the silver lane you want. So just when you go to bed tonight, think about it. Oh, I have a personal pharmacy. The problem is, for many of us, our pharmacy is closed. And the reason it's closed is, to make it very simple, is you put sticky stuff in your mouth. Most of the stuff that Dr. Ray was telling about not to eat on the naughty list, sugary stuff, sticky stuff, colored stuff, all the reds and blues, artificial dyes, and the sticky stuff, chemical food, basically. You put sticky stuff in your mouth, and you get sticky stuff in your arteries on top of the medicine bottles, and your medicine bottles don't open. So I was giving a talk like this to first graders about a year ago. First grader, all right? And the mother said, I want you to talk to them about the pharmacy, the natural pharmacy that God made. So I drew pictures and showed them that when they put sticky stuff in their mouth, they get sticky stuff on top of their medicine bottles, and their medicine bottles don't open. And the next day I get a call from another mother. Say, Dr. Bill, oh, thank you so much. My daughter loves your concept of putting sticky stuff in your mouth and getting sticky stuff on top of your medicine bottles. Because last night, my husband piled the kids into the van and took them out to a fast food restaurant. Let's call it Sticky's Burgers. And as soon as they drove in, my 6-year-old scolded Daddy, you can't put that sticky stuff in our mouth because we'll get sticky stuff on our medicine bottles and our pharmacy won't open. 6 years of age. See? So the moral of the story, we should be teaching kids beginning at 6, 7 years of age, this is your body. Teach them what God put in. Now, what is it that opens the medicine bottles? It's movement. That's what won the Nobel Prize, my friend Dr. Luignano. When you move, that's what my mom said, we suffer from the sitting disease right now. I use that term every day in my office. Joe, you suffer from the sitting disease. What's that, Dr. Bill? And I tell them. And so I often open my checkups. How many minutes or hours per day do you spend movement outside? Because movement, follow me closely, when you move, run, dance, walk fast, any movement that gets your heart rate up, the blood flows faster over the tops of the medicine bottles and creates a special force called a shear force that opens the medicine bottles and floods your pharmacy, your body, your bloodstream with all those natural medicines for you. That's why we want to move. And see, when I get in there and pictures, when I tell people, I play show and tell. When I show them pictures of a mover and a sitter, and there's Sam the sitter, in his mouth, and his medicine bottles are closed. There's Mandy the mover. You know, medicine bottles open. Oh, I didn't realize that I need to get out and move more to keep my pharmacy open. Yes, you do. See, so that's just an example of what we should be teaching. Now, another thing too that Dr. Gray said so many good things that I like his diet. But I want to add one thing. All right, now you want to think, what is the healthiest food on the planet? By that I mean it has the most nutrition in it for the least number of calories. Number one. It fills you up faster so you don't overeat. Number two. And it's got more nutrients for the brain and the heart than any other food on the planet. As a hint, it swims in the sea. There's another hint. It's a food mentioned quite often in the Bible. Fish. Salmon. Salmon is my top choice. Now I'm going to hold up a book called Our Healthy Brain Book. And we have a whole chapter on why salmon is so good for the brain. And if I hold up a book, we donate all of our proceeds to the book. And another book I have I call it Transform 5. It's our whole health course. And what Dr. Bray was talking about, he didn't go through a change. He went through a transformation. That's the term I use in my office. I just don't want to change, like a New Year change. You lose 10 pounds the first month, you gain it back the next month. No. A transformation is an inside job. And I have our course in a nutshell is have my patients, all right, hold up your hand. You hold the 5 keys to your health. Your hand. Move smart, exercise, like we just talked about, go outside and play, eat smart, real foods, sleep smart. I put in sleep smart because during sleep is when your pharmacy opens again. During sleep is when you have a whole night shift of pharmacists and doctors coming in to get your immune system cleaning house. Sleep smart, think smart, and serve smart. Serve smart. So that's the basis of our whole program. And one of the other things I encourage our families to do is, what do you do on the first thing you get out of bed? Check your cell phone, look your email. Nope, that's on the naughty list. Thank you, God. The attitude of gratitude. So when I get out of bed, here's my first 30 seconds of every day. Because we all have something to be thankful for, no matter how much life sucks. And it does sometimes. We have a few things to be thankful for. So here's how I start the day. Thank you, God, for my life. 84 years. Thank you, God, for my wife. 58 years. Thank you, God, for my health. Cancer survivor. Thank you, God, for my wealth. 8 kids. Thank you, God, for my MD. Please make it my ministry. This is what we're all doing today. We have MDs. This is our ministry. And another thing I said when they opened it, that we need to start being proactive. We need to start taking action to get things going. So one of the things I've done in my office is we were kind of wimpy for a while. Oh, Joe, you're a little bit overweight, or you eat a little bit too much junk, your sugar's a little bit high. No. I don't use the term overweight or overweight. I use the term pre-diabetic. That doesn't do it. I say, Joe, you're pre-Alzheimer's. What? Yeah. Alzheimer's begins. My Alzheimer's specialist, Dr. Vince Fortness, who wrote the book, The Alzheimer's Prescription. I asked him, said, Vince, when does Alzheimer's begin? Alzheimer's begins in adolescence. Wow. Because the brain very gradually starts to change, like a garden. If you put toxic stuff in the garden, plants wither. And our brain is the greatest garden ever grown. So the terms like pre-diabetic, pre-Alzheimer's, pre-cancer, see? Okay, Dr. Bill, I get it. So imagine going home and the husband asked the wife, well, how did your checkup go? Oh, Dr. Bill said, I'm pre-diabetic or pre-cancer. Yeah, but the good news is, by undergoing a transformation, like Dr. Gray did and what I did, when you undergo a transformation, you stay pre. You can especially diet. I'm gonna pick D2 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, as the number one preventable and the number one reversible illness. I'm sure there's going to be controversy there, but that's just my opinion. And you know, I really believe we have what we call the pill skills model in our medical practice. It's not only, doctor, what can I take? The pills. It's, doctor, what can I do? And there's what we start reading more of. And that's you. So you do. So the doctor prescribes the pill. You do the skills. And that's what programs like this are doing. They're teaching you your own medical list. Take the pills the doctor prescribed, do it wisely, but you also take the skills that opens your own pharmacy, that heals your immune system. Those are the skills. And pills without skills don't work. Sometimes it's only skills. Many times you get older, it's pills and skills, but never pills without skills. So those are the one little other thing I find a lot in is we are a country of gorgers. Go to a restaurant sometime and watch people eat. Gorging. So part of our Transform 5 is become a grazer, not a gorger. I call it my rule of two. Twice as often, eat half as much, chew twice as long, and take twice the time to dine. Grazers are healthier. Simple as that. So be a grazer, and remember, your body is the most beautiful creation God ever made. It's our job to take care of it, and that's what we hope to teach you on this program.
I mean, wow, Dr. Bill Sears, delivering the goods. I want to put a disclaimer out there. Dr. Bill Sears is not advocating for people to go to restaurants and stare at people gorging.
Right.
Okay?
Don't
blame us, okay? All right. Now that we got that out of the way, what powerful information from everybody, right? Where we can have a discussion, because at the end of the day, we want to help, right? Our intentions is to have you hear something from somebody that's going to trigger a transformation, as Dr. Sears says, not a change. The weather changes, right? You want your body to change as much as the weather changes. So you want to transform your life and the way you're doing things, right? We always say, one simple change, as Dr. Sears knows, one simple change can be the start to something special.
Yes, and Troy, I want to add one more thing too. Dr. Bray mentioned to it about a ministry. God opened a door 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I got a call from a pastor in Houston, Texas, and they have a huge streaming network down there called GLU, G-L-U, God Loves You. And he said, we would like you to have your own streaming TV show called Ask Dr. Sears TV. And we're going to be opening in, going live and all in sometime in February. So go on our website, askdrsears.com, and it will tell you how to click in. And so that's our ministry right now. I think everybody on this program, all of our presenters, we have a ministry. And so that's my new ministry.
Well, amen.
Dr. Sears, Troy, may I ask Dr. Sears a question?
Absolutely.
Because of your extensive publications, are they on Audible also? And if so, how can we obtain them so we can follow and listen and get advice? Because that's the one thing I'm blessed with. Because, like I said, Dr. Furman, the late great Dick Gregory, Dr. Bees worked with me, Gabrielle Bernstein for different senses of motivation. Arnold Schwarzenegger's book is another great book that does great. I mean, I read a lot of nonfiction and a lot of fiction that becomes highly motivating through Audible. Because sometimes people say, "Well, I ain't got time to sit down and crack a book open, Dre. I got to work at this." But you can put an Audible book in your ear, and you can drive your car and listen to your information, like Dr. Bill was passing along, and
Yeah.
we can actually build on this. So I'm very excited about the glue that you're creating with your streaming network, and I want to participate and be a part of that to listen, learn, and assist. Because sometimes it's not just us speaking; it's also us collaborating. And
Yes.
I want to thank Dr. Bill for your prayer. But I was going to share mine, but I thought I was talking too long. If Troy gives me just a quick moment, and it's something you could say over and over in your day, and believe me, when you deal, I call it the person, the master planner or the creator that does the things it's taking care of. That does for me. Troy, can I just take 1 second to say it?
Please do, sir.
It's very simple.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Dr. Gray.
universe and guides of the Most High, truth and compassion.
Uh,
I am ready to be free. I welcome a newfound faith. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love. And that, for me, motivates the anxiety, the depression, the what am I going to do? It lets that dissipate. It lets that go away. And when you repeat it and you do it whenever you feel your worst, because the one thing I really enjoyed that Dr. Bill said is your sleep conduct is as important as your movement. So in my prayers, I always say, thank you, Lord, for giving me peace and rest. I don't use the word sleep, I use the word rest. Because when you let your body rest, like Dr. Bill was saying, all those pharmacies open up and the sticky stuff goes straight down. It just does. Because when you eat correctly, you use that bathroom faster than you ever want to know. Because your body is saying, I don't want that in me. I don't know why you ate that. I don't know what you were thinking. Get it out. Get it out. And all of a sudden, you find those transformations become a part of the blessings of 84 years. 84 years.
right.
I am so honored to be here with you, Dr. Bill.
Well,
And,
thank you,
like I
Dr.
said,
Gray.
I just turned 60, and believe me, people spoke of my death and said, "Oh, Dr. Dre passed away. What happened to him?" And then I pick up the phone. Hello, what are you talking about? I'm right here. Are you still here? Yeah, I'm still here. It's simplicity to make those transformations. So, Dr. Bill, I really need to get with you because I need to know how I can listen to what you have, because that's how I learn from the great TD Jakes, the great Pastor Michael Todd, and I mean, the lists go on. And
And our books
everyone
are
needs those
they
motivations.
they are on Audible, on
Great.
Amazon Audible.
Great, great. Like I said, we have to talk
Got
because
it. Give me a call.
I'm
Anytime.
excited. Troy, I'll tell you,
Yeah,
Troy is the action.
I see 60-year-old patients too.
Hey, and guess what? I may have to be your other 60 patient because I'm still learning and I want to understand and move forward for all. So thank you, thank you, thank you for this blessing.
Well, gentlemen, I
Thank
want
you.
to tell you that this is CARE, where we talk about collaboration, acceleration, revelation, and elevation.